You're tuned in to the Behind the Ears podcast with Uncle Danny and Mr. Chris, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind the Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Expedition Roasters is the artisanal roaster of specialty Disney-inspired coffees. Why not brew some of the magic at your home? Some of our coffees include Skipper's Brew, Ghoulish Delight, Enchanted Tiki Coconut, Redhead Rum, and many other unique roasts. Our coffees are certified gluten and allergen-free and feature unique custom artwork by guest artists. Expedition Roasters offers an adventure in every bag. So start your adventure today by visiting us online at expeditionroasters.com. That's expeditionroasters.com. And Behind the Ears listeners, be sure to take advantage of this exclusive offer and save 20% on your first purchase with code EARS20. That's EARS20 at expeditionroasters.com. Brew your happy place. Do you have a little one and don't want to bring your stroller from home? Have you destroyed a stroller in the past from all the wear and tear from a Disney vacation? Well, Kingdom Strollers is a great place to rent a great quality stroller at a reasonable price. Kingdom Strollers is a Disney-featured stroller provider, which means they will deliver it right to your resort, even if you're not there. Same thing for picking it up at the end of your trip. So if you're in need of an affordable stroller rental during your next Orlando trip, consider renting from a Disney-trusted stroller company. Visit kingdomstrollers.com for more information.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I am Babyface Uncle Danny. That is Sicky Sick Mr. Chris, and we're here to rock your socks off.
Sicky Sick?
Sicky, that's a great DJ name, I'm telling you.
Sicky Sick Mr. Chris.
So let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, Chris is feeling under the weather, so his voice will be a tad bit raspy, and you might hear him randomly mute himself. That is for the benefit of all of our viewing audience.
Oh, yeah.
And for the people watching, not listening, because if you're listening, I am still looking like the same man you know. But if you're watching, I unfortunately am beardless. I have been referred to as a man-child, a large fat baby, and a 12-year-old. So with that being said, had to do it for work. Let's get it out of the way. Let's move past it. So, Chris, how are
you? Don't make me laugh. That's just...
See, there's the first awkward mute when you don't expect it, and I'm not paying attention.
Oh my God. Yeah, you know what? I woke up this morning, and I didn't get hardly any sleep last night. And so I usually wake up first, then I wake up my wife. My wife gets out of bed first, so she can, make lunch for John and get everything ready. So I wake up and I go, honey, can you make John right fast? And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I don't think I have a voice. And I'm like, oh, I'm thinking to myself, this is a podcaster's worst nightmare. I go downstairs, I grab myself some peppermint herbal tea and drank a few cups of that and just kept hydrating all day and better living through chemistry. My wife came home from local pharmacy with a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to take tonight before I go to bed. I hope I wake up. I hope I actually wake up and don't go into a coma with everything I plan on taking tonight just to feel better in the morning. But that's beside the point. It's also why I didn't do a live coffee break today, just because I sounded like poo. But I'm glad that we're here today, and we're just going to have a good old time tonight. It's one of those
you're
things.
Getting all the well wishes to feel better, but no one's talking about the well wishes for all that beautiful hair that's gone.
Listen, you're just saddened at the fact that you can't use your beaver comb, and
I can't. What am I gonna? take the skin off with how rough that brush is.
But listen, I mean, the fact of the matter is that first off, I forgot that you have to go through that training every year. And I remember last time that you came on, like, I thought, who the heck is this guy? And it's just
My twin brother Donnie.
it just looks too funny. And everybody, this is just one reason why you got to watch the show live, because you just never know what Danny's gonna look like. It's just one of the things.
You never know what I'm gonna look like.
Here's the thing: you'll actually get a beard that actually looks, good for you, and this, that, and the other. I can't grow a beard if my life depended on it. And at the same time, you'll at least get your beard back before you have to go into the nice hot Florida weather. So that should be,
yeah, and and everybody knows, like, you see the pictures when I'm down there. Like, I usually don't go down with a scruffy beard anyway. Yeah. I usually go pretty close to the face, maybe like a 1 or a 2 with from the barber, but I'll get that back. By the weekend, I'll be solid. I mean, literally, I was talking to a couple friends last night, and one of the girls I had sent a picture to, I showed her like the side by side, and she's laughing, and she calls me. She goes, "How do you have a 5 o'clock shadow already?" She goes, "You shaved 10 minutes ago." And I was like, I don't know. So I put the GIF up online and go check it out in the picture. It's basically Tim Allen from the Santa Claus movie.
Yeah.
Where he shaves and then all the hair's back.
It's just funny. But you know what?
Let's get on the
while we can talk about personal hygiene for forever type of thing, let's talk about some cool Disney news. NEWZ. No, I'm just kidding. So, as we talked about on Thursday, prices went up on tickets. And, I'm going to say this in this manner because I think a lot of people lost their minds. And I found it kind of interesting. Over the past couple days, I put up a couple different bonus polls, as I like to call them, over at the WDW community page. And I kind of asked the question, I go, how are the ticket hikes going to impact you? And the vast majority of the people basically said, it is what it is, and we're going to keep going. Some people say, hey, I might change a few things. I might go slightly less frequent. But really only had a couple people say, you know what, this tipped me over the edge, and I respect that. The vast majority of the people were like, eh. But, here's the interesting thing. Our friend Aaron Ripmaster from the Diz Dads podcast, great podcast, by the way, he did a very detailed analysis. Now, he's obviously been keeping track of this for quite some time. It's not like he just poofed it out type of thing. He basically gave a good running tally of what the year-to-year changes were. And to go along with some of the information, I did another poll today saying, how long is your typical Disney trip? And I'm going off of memory, but most people said it looked like it was mainly 5 to 6 days is what most people tend to do on an average trip. So this is what it looks like. Okay? If you buy multi-day tickets, not talking about hoppers, let's just go with the base multi-day ticket. The biggest increase from what it looks like is like if you had a 4-day ticket, it goes up a little over 8%. If you get like a 3-day ticket, it goes up just over 5%. And if you get a 5-day ticket, it goes up just under 7%.
That's it?
That's it. But here's the thing. If you go 6 days, it's just under 4% compared to last year. And then, like, if you go, 7, 8, 9, or 10 days, it's all just a crack over 1% difference compared to last year. 1%. Now, I do my trips is mainly between 6 and 10 days every year. And it's a 1% difference compared to last year. Dude, that is less than like a big gigantic venti mocha frappa,
Yeah, I mean we're arguing about $7.
Yeah.
In some cases. Let's say either 10%. Think about all right. So say you spend $500.
which is it's under $500.
Okay, let's just round it
Yeah,
even. $500 at 10%. You're talking about a $50 upcharge.
yeah. Or a family of four, you're talking 200, but you're not even talking 10%.
No, that's what I'm saying. And you're not talking 500. That's, I'm trying to just throw it out there. Listen, the one thing that I need to do more research on, especially as a travel agent, I need to get a better gist of what's going on, is they have implemented, and they did it in the past, these hot day tickets, as I'm going to call them. And certain days are going to cost more money. It's as simple as that. And you might say, that's unfair. I want to go there. Why is it so expensive that day? It's because, have you ever walked into the park when they're at 100% capacity? What does everybody turn around and say? Oh my God, the park is too packed. Why'd they let this many people in? Let's be real here. And this is complete honesty. They don't want that many people in the park.
No, they don't.
They don't want you riding two attractions and walking out after 8 hours and being disgusted with it. Listen, Disney makes hand over fist a lot of money. Are they? I love the notion when people say they're pricing out the average Joe. On certain days, I hate to say it, they are.
On some
They
days,
want you to pay a premium to be there on premium days.
and the thing is that people the people that actually said they're trying to do it as a form of crowd control. In a way, they're right. They're absolutely right. They're gonna, the thing is that the people that are gonna be there for 6, 7, 8, 10 days, they're not really penalizing them. They are trying to, and I shouldn't say penalize. That was really the wrong way of looking at it. But because those are the people that are going to go and they're going to enjoy the parks, but they're not always going to be at the parks every single minute of every single day. They're going to be, they're going to be there, and they're going to enjoy the parks for half day, 3/4 of the day. They're the ones that are going to go back to the pool in the middle of the day. They're the ones that are going to go back in the evening hours and stuff like that. They're the ones that are going to, have a good time with it. And to kind of go along with those numbers, even if you talk about that 8% difference, you really are talking about, you're talking about a couple large meals out as a family difference throughout a course of a year. I realize I'm not calling it chump change. I'm not. A difference of $200 is a difference of $200.
That's substantial.
That's a very substantial, but
In Disney World, it's not, though.
in Disney World, it's not. The fact of the matter is that everything has gone up price wise, and this is not me standing up for Disney on this thing. This is pure observational fact. Prices have gone up for everything. Okay, healthcare has gone up, food has gone up. Transportation costs have gone up. You and I have talked so many times about how hard it is to get a decent flight down there. It's just the cost of living these days have gone up. At the same time, for a lot of people, salaries either stay the same or, as I said, the cost of living keeps changing. So it adds an extra depth perception that we have one more thing, a favorite thing, is now going to cost a bit more.
Yeah, people don't realize that. Okay, we're not going to go into the semantics and the argument of if Disney employees make enough money. That's not what I'm trying to get at here.
No.
But even a small raise of 30 cents an employee, to one employee, you're like, 30 cents, keep that change. Do 30 cents times everybody, an hourly wage in a year. You're talking huge money. Not saying the ticket prices, they're trying to recoup that money, but things go up. Hey, you want the new Star Wars hotel? Hey, you want to see Ratatouille come in the park? You want Star Wars Land? You want to do all these things? What do you think? It just happens. Listen, at the end of the day, we are consumers. And, Aaron said something, and me and him had a conversation about it on the side a couple days ago, and it was so true. People look back into the early 2000s when the travel business was in disarray from all, the terrorist attacks and everything like that. And they were giving things away for free.
Oh,
I
all the
mean,
time.
I used to get $40 tickets back in the day
Oh,
for flights.
and that's when flights were easy to come by. Freaking flyer tickets were easy to come by. You were able to get discounted rooms, discounted tickets. You know, buy three, stay for five. Type of deals. You would have a coupon or special discount codes they would send you in the mail. I mean, they would constantly try to bring you in because tourism was down. It was the reason why, the property where Art of Animation sits right now sat there for a long, long, long time because after 9/11, things went to heck of fire in a handbasket because of tourism.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why they wanted to try to stimulate that. That, I'll be honest with you, that stopped. That uptick in all the different discounts, back about 5-6 years ago, that started to get pulled back, and people kept on saying, are we going to see like free dining coming out? And people
It's
were
because
like,
they expected it because
they
we were
expected
getting
it.
it all the time.
And they still expect it. People still
Yeah.
expect things like free dining, and now it's actually harder and harder to get discounts and freebies and upgrades. And Disney is still pretty much at capacity. I mean, 90% capacity, a lot of times. Now, granted, I still anticipate that we are seeing an uptick in tourism at Disney right now because there's a lot of people who are still kind of like, taking the trips that they rescheduled from Hurricane Irma. Probably, maybe, I don't know. Again, that's going to have to start dwindling down, I'm assuming. But people are trying to go now, probably because some of them got displaced before. I don't know. I just don't know. But
You know,
you know,
like Christine said, people are saying let's boycott Disney. I said, well, I can't afford to go to Hawaii, so should I boycott Hawaii? It's the same thing. Please, and this is all right. This is gonna come off very rude, and I'm saying with very much tongue in cheek here. Boycott Disney, please. You know what that means? That's a few less people in my way to get on Space Mountain. Listen, every 3 people that don't go, that's 3 spots closer. I'm getting the ride in that.
amen.
Geez.
I mean, okay, I do have a very close friend of mine that she hasn't been able to go to Disney in a few years because of the pricing in general. She is not someone that has like complained about it. It's just unfortunately it hasn't been in the cards for her. But now, when you're talking about her family being able to go, it's going to cost her another $200. Again, I'm throwing that out there. I know it's more like, I know it's probably about a 100 and a half. But what I'm getting at is, there are some people that really do, they budget very closely. And I respect that. They try to make the best Disney trip possible they can with a very, very tight budget. And they have a great time at it. And, when you have, 5% increase, over across the board, I'll just use that as a generalized example. That means like, your $2,000 trip is now a $2,100 trip. Your $3,000 trip is now a $3,150 trip. It just compounds.
At the end of the day, though, Disney is not the only people raising their prices.
No, they're not. No, and you know what the other part is? I know you're probably got another thought to that. Let me just throw this out there. No one has said anything about how Disney's hotel rates have also gone up dramatically over the past 10 years. I mean, my wife and I were talking about this back when we first started going. To pay $120 a night for Riverside was, we thought that was a good deal. And now,
oh yeah, me and my mom had this argument about that.
And now, try to get Riverside under $200 a night without a lot of deep discounts and stuff like that.
Good luck even finding it at that.
Yeah, I'm being very generous in my generalizations.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everything around Disney's gone up, but you know what? We still budget for it. We're still all going to make it. You know, I'm doing 2 trips this year. I will tell you right now, the second trip is a splurge for me. I'll admit it. It's not in my budget. It is a splurge. I'm, selling what's left of my hair, getting rid of a kidney, maybe a toe or two, but I'm still going that second
I
time.
shaved my beard for that. We a dog lost all its hair and it got a hair transplant. It was a beaver. A beaver took my hair. There it is. That's the story, and I'm running with it.
But here's the thing. This is what I don't understand. I'm gonna switch gears here, and I'm not gonna press in the clutch. So, I know you're a big Uber fan. One of the other things that they did is they raised the price of the minivans to $25. And Kathy and I, as much as Kathy's a huge fan of the minivan, but I thought of myself, to me, I wouldn't mind dropping a $20 on a trip. If I had, there's gonna be 5 of us, 5 of us in a nice comfy SUV, that would be worth it. Because I think in order to do an Uber, you'd have to get an Uber XL for something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's going to cost you a little bit more. It's going to be more competitive. But for $20, I thought it would be fine. $25, I know, $5, right? Doesn't sound like a lot. Now I'm starting to wonder. I don't get it. Especially since I don't know if Uber prices, how dynamic they are. But, if it's just my wife and I going somewhere, I'm now going to most likely take a Lyft or an Uber. It's as simple as that. Because I don't see justifying an extra, twice the amount of difference in that. I mean, I love the minivan concept. I think it's great. People who do it, they love it. Yeah. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
All right, so first off, Jess was a question for me about which Uber we get. We either get Uber regular or Uber Black. I like an Uber Black.
What's an Uber Black?
I feel so clever. It's just a premium car. Like the one night we got picked up from Boardwalk, and I got us an Uber Black. It was just a fully decked out Tahoe Denali. Yeah. Nothing crazy. But normally, when I'm especially when I'm by myself, man, basic Uber, Toyota Corollas and Honda Civics.
Dude, what is it with all the Toyota Corollas on Uber?
Monster deal down there.
It's like
Toyota Corolla.
It's like
me and Alex actually had a Ford Fusion, not too bad.
Well,
yeah, all right. I'm bougie a little bit once in a while, people. To go back to the Riverside thing.
Yeah.
Me and my mom were talking about the other day because I was looking at some possible upcoming trips for me and Chris and me and myself, looking into 2018 saying, okay, business related, not fun Danny trips. What business trips do I want to do? So I started looking at some dates and some prices, and I was looking at Riverside. It was like $240 a night. And that's high, but it's not that high. I haven't seen Riverside under $220 in a long time. Now, that's Riverside. I booked somebody in the room, who listens to us. I'm not going to throw their name out there. They completed the trip, and I got them for low 2s in French Quarter.
Right.
I have been seeing French Quarter tends to be a tad bit cheaper than Riverside, which is a little surprising at times. But listen, when it comes down to rising prices, everything goes up. Your cable bill goes up. I mean, I remember when I was grandfathered into Netflix paying $7.99 for Netflix. I'm up to $13 now. And yeah, you might say that's not a lot, but think about it. Talking about $4 or $5 extra every month. Listen, what I feel it does is it just moves people to say, okay, do we split a trip up, or maybe you extend the trip? Because you got to remember, yes, you're spending more money, but you're getting more value for the longer trip, if that makes sense. The more days you're there, yes, you're spending more on hotel and food, but your ticket prices are now dropping.
Your average price.
Yeah, I mean, your biggest hold of money at Disney is going to be the resort.
Right.
Then it's going to come, boom, next one down. And this is where it's going to rival, depending on the person you are, is going to be food and tickets. But I had posted on the WDW community. So the last thing I'm gonna say about the tickets, and I'm done. That they raised the prices to park, and I know that kind of stirred up some controversy in some other groups that I had posted in. And guys, they haven't raised prices in like 7 years. And they didn't jump up that much. Listen, Disney parking prices is ridiculous as it is. It's absolutely absurd. I'm not going to sit here and give away, trade secrets and tell you how to get around things, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to force you to stay on property. If you are a local, they're trying to force you to get an AP so you can avoid these things. I know a lot of people that are parking on off-site properties and Ubering in. Listen, there's going to come a point where I don't think Uber is going to be able to drop you off as close as they can. I can't confirm nor deny anything. I've just heard some rumblings. But you have anything else you want to touch on the tickets or rising prices? I'm kind of behind on all these comments here.
No, I just know I just saw a lot of comments that were really, shaking up a lot of other Disney groups. Is Boogie? Ask him what.
Bougie. She spelled it wrong, but
Bougie?
It's okay.
Oh yeah, you and your Beamer. Yeah,
I look good in that Beamer. Ooh, baby. Oh man. Listen. If you knew the price I got, all right. So people car fashionados. I had a 4 Series convertible BMW that I rented, and the only reason I didn't rent that car. I rented a Mercedes, and they upgraded me to the BMW because the guy happened to know who I was in Tampa. Bro, Sixt, SIXT. Go rent cars through them. I get no commission. I promise you, you'll get some sweet cars that are really.
I was really impressed at the fact that how much Granted, it's a discount car rental chain, and you were really impressed with them.
I was very nervous because especially the one in Tampa, it's off-site. You got to get on their jitney and you got to go over. And when you pulled into the one in Tampa, I was like, oh no, they're going to take me for all my money. And I'm ended up in the back of an SUV somewhere. They had beautiful cars on their lot. From Denali's to Z06 Corvettes. They had basic, Toyota Corollas for a cheaper price. But you go on their site, SIXT, you can rent Range Rovers, pickup trucks, Land Rovers, Mercedes, BMW, Buicks, Audis, Lexus. For reasonable prices. I'm going down to Fort Lauderdale on the back end of this trip, and I got an I'll tell you, I got an E-Class Mercedes. So that's their $60,000 to $70,000 car.
It's a mid-sized Mercedes
for like $41 a day.
That's cheap.
Unlimited miles, people. Unlimited miles.
I know. It's like you go to every time I go past, like when I rent a car for personal use, I usually get it through Hertz, mainly because I can get special deals and so on. And it's like, with my wife and with my kids, hey, Dad, can we get that Range Rover that's sitting there? That looks cool. What about that Jaguar? That looks great. No, we got this Toyota Corolla right here, man. It's
Don't worry about it. Hey, okay.
It's fun.
Oh, man.
I will tell
you.
Will
I be streaming on my trip? I'm doing a lot of filming. I'll put it that way. What goes live? I don't know.
I guess people are just going to have to tune in later because what you have in store for when you come back is going to be awesome, and our audience is going to love it. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's going to be great. It really is. I can't wait to see it. And I'm just going to bust any myths right now. No, ladies and gentlemen, I will not be going down there to surprise anybody. You have my word. I will be back here at BTEP Central, and
I see what you did there. We're Midwest, our Midwest,
the Midwest chapter, the Midwest branch. Well, center. Yeah, center. I am in the center of the country. Um, that was bad. I really shouldn't try to do that when I have very little
Oh
voice,
yeah.
But we'll just leave that here for now. So, but let's. Speaking of big, loud, and obnoxious, that brings me up to Star Wars.
Yes. So there really nothing crazy came out, and a lot of this news saw broke. Some of it was just coming out directly from the Walt Disney World Company, basically to mask and try to calm down the rioting crowds about ticket prices. The rest of it was basically coming out of D23, which happened in their Japan chapter, Japan event. It happened in Japan. Just a couple more details were been announced. I'm gonna read it verbatim because it doesn't make sense for me to try to go offhand because some of it didn't really, go word for word.
And
What I know about Star Wars.
this is off of the D23 page, or this is off of the Disney Parks blog page.
This is actually off of WDW Magic.
Okay,
Give credit where credit is due.
absolutely.
Basically, they're saying it's going to be a first of its kind resort. Will combine luxury with complete immersiveness into an authentic Star Wars story. Guest journey through space will start when everyone departs together for a multi-day Star Wars adventure by boarding a starship alive with characters and stories that unfold all around them during their voyage through the galaxy. At the resorts, guests immediately become active citizens of the galaxy and can dress up in proper attire. Every resort window, this is the part where I even said to Chris, I now need to stay there. Every resort window will also have a view into space. So I'm assuming it's going to be something where you can flip a button and I don't want to say a curtain comes down, but it's going to be like one of those like flip windows. Not actual moving, but like they'll have like that little film on it that basically like comes to life, and it's going to be a view of space, stars, and I don't know if anything's going to be moving on it. No one really knows. The opportunity for the immersiveness at this resort will also stand out among all Disney resorts around the globe, as well as the seamlessly connected to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disney's Hollywood Studios, allowing guests a total Star Wars experience.
See,
so
that's
crazy.
I think I know we've talked about this before. We've read the different rumors before, and the idea of a total, complete, immersive experience has always been on the forefront of Disney's plans for this. Let's face it. I personally, every time I see something about this, I personally get more excited about it, and I know it's going to be years away. But I can't wait to try something like this. It's going to be so stinking cool. And, I really actually hope that the Star Wars hype continues through the different movies that they're going to have over the next, number of years to keep this hype going. I think that's what they need.
Yeah, listen, I don't want to say I'm ecstatic. I'm excited. I wouldn't say ecstatic. I'm excited to see what it could be because it is going to be very immersive. It is going to be one of those resorts where they're saying that you basically can spend a couple days just hanging out at the resort, doing different activities and everything.
That's not a bad thing. I mean,
no, it's not.
Let's face it. Outside of the Star Wars themed hotel, Disney's got some really darn good, entertaining hotels.
That's it right there.
Like the virtual portholes on some of the Disney ships. Absolutely, that's a good analogy, Stan. And I love those virtual portholes. I mean, just the idea that you can see outside, but then it adds a little bit of Disney magic in those portholes. I think it's really, really cool.
It's going to be huge money to stay.
Yeah, there. I think Brunette, forgot a couple of those dollar signs on there. To be honest,
and I'm almost positive all right, was it a minimum of 3 nights or a maximum of 3 nights? Do you remember when that rumor started floating?
I thought
it was going one or the other.
It was like I thought it was like a 3-night minimum, But I thought it was
Minimum.
like
I thought it
either,
was a 3-night maximum.
or maybe it was like a 3-night experience is kind of how it was put.
Okay.
But the fact of the matter is, this, you could do a lot at, like, say, Animal Kingdom Lodge. There are so many things that you can do there. You can do so many things at Wilderness Lodge. You can do so many things at the Contemporary. This is going to take the whole idea of having a resort day and plussing it to the extreme. And I think that is where this is really going to count. To have it Star Wars themed, it's going to be a cosplay extraordinaire adventure type of thing. You want to be Han Solo? Great. You want to be Chewie? Awesome. You want to be, okay. Do you want to be the young Princess Leia with the big hair earmuffs? Or do you want to be the old Princess Leia in Carrie Fisher's last days? I don't know. You decide. What?
Which isn't she the one? I don't know. If it's from the new Star Wars, doesn't she get sucked out of the plane, but then like
Yes,
pulls
she
herself
did as a
back
better.
in?
I'm really proud of you that you actually remembered a scene out of there. That's
No, because you know
applause.
what it is? I think I killed the movie so much. I'm like, that is terrible. She got sucked down and sucked herself right back in.
That
Yeah,
was
I'm
awesome.
excited for it. What's also some exciting news is they have finally kind of gave a rough timeline. We're gonna get very, very rough. They're
Yeah.
saying 2021. I can't say I called it because I was wrong on the year. If it does open in 2021, I was saying 2020, but it looks like it'll be just in time for the 50th anniversary, and that's going to be Gardens of the Galaxy. We're looking at, once again, the timeline is 2021. That's taking over Ellen's Energy Adventure. And it's not going to be like the Disneyland one. We're not going to see a drop thrill ride like everybody was basically saying with all the hype balloons and it's good, or it was going to revamp the Tower of Terror like it did in DL. No, we are getting the longest indoor roller coaster in the world.
There you go.
Not Disney, not just Disney World, not Florida. No, you are getting the longest indoor roller coaster in the entire globe.
Now, to me, that's exciting. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the fastest, but the longest? Hey, I like that idea. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, and that was really the only thing that had come out, worthwhile for Guardians of the Galaxy. It was crazy because there was a lot of news came out, but it wasn't solely around Disney World. It was the first time we saw a mass bulk out of news, and it all didn't have to do with Disney World. I'll be honest, I posted it out there and I didn't read the article, and I had to go edit it. I was only 2 minutes behind my posting, but I had put out that they had said what was Rock and Roller Coaster was getting an Iron Man theme overlay, and I was like, yes, yeah, because Iron Man's my favorite Avenger. I'm like, yes, this is wonderful. Not thinking, duh, Dammy, you can't do that. You got Universal right around the corner.
But then you had to read and found out.
And then I had to read literally just the next sentence down that was for Paris, but that came out, which is actually a really cool idea for Paris. Paris is getting some really interesting things going on over there, which I'm super excited for. We talked about the minivans raising prices. There's a lot of hush going on with the American Adventure and what exactly is going on. Everybody kind of has their own idea of what's going to happen there. I have no idea.
The thing is, though, with the Guardians of the Galaxy, it's going to be a coaster, longest coaster. And you think of the building, and you think, they're going to have to go upwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting to see what it looks like. What that building itself is going to look like. And how they're going to change it. I know there's a lot of people that really got honked off that, Guardians is going to, change the edutainment factor of Epcot. And
Epcot needs it, man.
Well, here's the thing. How do we know that they're not going to do something that has edutainment value to it, but just has Star-Lord, Rocket, and, Groot as a part of it? You just don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to throw out, you know what? Danny, you and I don't do this normally, but why don't we speculate something?
Ooh,
Okay.
I don't like the sound of that.
I know. And everybody knows we're unscripted. I did not tell Danny I'm going here before this, so he may shoot me for this. What do you think if they to build this coaster, this world's longest indoor roller coaster?
We're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Do you think that means that they're going to finally do something with the Wonders of Life Pavilion and possibly tear it down or possibly integrate it into something Guardians of the Galaxy wise? Think about it. It's right next door.
Are they close enough? Where is it close enough?
You could
Are
have
those buildings close enough to connect them and just add a new building, like a sublet building right in the middle to connect all three together?
I bet you. I bet you. And if nothing else,
Meet and greet.
something. This is pure speculation. I know nothing, but
Oh, you know what they'll do? I know exactly what they're gonna do.
Okay.
What Disney always does.
okay.
They'll put the entrance in there. It'll be some half cockamamie, queue line. They'll sell some magic bands, and then they'll just have a photo op. And that's usually how Disney does their queue lines lately. No, I have no idea. It would make sense.
I mean, wouldn't it finally? I mean, I know they mainly use it for festivals right now, but they have really pretty much left that pavilion untouched.
That would have to be the exit, though.
See, I think it could be used as an exit, but I think they could use it as a part of, the height of it could be part of the ride, or no, something. They've got to, because they got to do something with the skyline if they're going to have to go upwards. See, because the Universe of Energy Pavilion itself is so big, it has such an open, space. If you think about it, I mean, if you think about how that ride ran, it's nothing but a huge, huge, flat space. Take out all the different animatronics, all the different things that they have for it. It's huge open space. It can be used for ride vehicles. It could be used for queue spacing. It could be used for whatever. But who knows? They may do something to have it go into the Wonders of Life Pavilion. They may change it to. You see, people were talking about how I saw some comments about the space, the space themed restaurant that's supposed to go in Epcot. I can't wait for that either. That also seems like it could be in a natural hook right there too. Serious.
Do you know what the problem is? I'm gonna have to look at the footprint of Epcot because I feel like that's too much foot traffic right there to have an entrance. That's why I was saying the exit just dump the people off while people are walking by, so you're not gathering a line right there. But man, we're gonna have to touch on that again because I'm gonna have to do some research on that footprint.
There are some possibilities there. Again, it's pure speculation, and I will not be the kind of person that if I get it right, I'll be like, ha, I got it right. No,
I would.
But I think it would be kind of fun to do some speculation. I think the Wonders of Life Pavilion has been I mean, it took them how long to get Body Wars taken out of there?
Yeah, which they're using for storage now.
Yeah, I mean, they can do so much. There's so much
I saw
potential.
somebody say about the move. Where would they put all the convention stuff and the hard ticket events? Why can't they use that building?
You're thinking about the Odyssey?
Yeah, they used to have the craft beers in there during a couple of wine and foods years ago. I mean, we're talking probably 3-4 years ago. They had craft beers in there. Might have been longer. Wow. Might have been like 2011 was the last time I saw the craft beers in
See,
there.
the nice part about the Wonders of Life Pavilion is that because it's very much naturally lit, and it's big, they could do a lot of really nice, flower garden type stuff there and
Yeah.
demonstrations there. It actually works out pretty well. The Yeah, and the Odyssey is kind of dark, enclosed. It's not. It looks bigger than it is.
We
Excuse
need
me.
a
Yeah.
show on Epcot one day.
You know what though? I've
After I get back. Let me do
I,
some recon while I'm there.
do some
Bring my
Rico.
binoculars.
Oh
I will make a video of me rolling around just for everybody.
my gosh, that I yeah. I would so put that in our opening. I'll figure out a way to put that in our opening roll here on shows, just because I have to. That would be. I don't care who you are. That'd be entertaining. So So let me ask you something. Um, you're going to go down there for the marathon weekend. You're going to do your 5K. Um, is there anything different that you're going to do that maybe you haven't done before or haven't done in a long time? Do you have any plans, something special for this coming trip? And yes, I know I totally shifted topics again.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Situations in life changed a little bit for me. So there were certain things I had planned that no longer have a necessity to do. But I was thinking about renting one of the pontoon boats, messing around with that for a little while. I had thought about renting one of the car boats. So, I've got it. Definitely doing mini golf. Um,
Sweet.
so that is something to look forward to. I've never done mini golf inside Disney.
I hear it's hilariously fun.
How long am I gonna be gone for? Oh, geez. Let's pull up the handy dandy map. I am in Disney from Thursday the 22nd till Thursday the 1st. I'm in Disney for a while. Thursday to Thursday. I mean, that's not. And then I leave that Thursday and go get my Mercedes. I'm driving down. Actually, it's like a 4-hour drive, but I don't care. It's gonna be awesome. Going out to Port Canaveral. I'm gonna go look at the space station for a little while by myself. I love going there, and then I'm
That's
taking
cool.
90. We did it a couple. We did it. Me and Matt did it back in March, and I had a blast. And they actually have this little restaurant over there. I want to go get lunch by myself because everybody freaks out like you're going on vacation by yourself. I like it a little bit. I like just being alone, relaxing. I'm gonna get a drink. I'm gonna sit by the beach. I'm gonna relax, and I'm shooting down, picking my best friend up, and we're gonna shoot into Fort Lauderdale. And I'm actually going to see a Florida Panthers hockey game.
There you go.
Yeah, so but it'll be a good time. And then my first time ever. I'll do a review on it. Flying out of West Palm Beach Airport. Never flew out of that one. That's
There you
something
go.
new for this trip.
I like.
But
I like to
when
hear
we go-
your. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, good.
I look forward to hear what you have to say about Space Center. I loved it. Um,
We can do a show on that one. That's fun. It's not Disney, but
no, it's not. But the fact of the matter is that we've gone there, and we've done a day trip there type of thing, and it's really cool. And I myself am a big supporter of the space program, space exploration. I mean, when SpaceX did their launch the other day of the Falcon Heavy rockets, I thought that was super cool. I mean, that was just like, oh yeah. But we'll have to see how it goes. So, um, well, Danny is actually, he's kind of paused here for a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and talk here for a second. I'm really glad that he's actually getting a chance to do a solo trip. And, tell you the truth, that's going to make for a great trip report when he actually comes back and tells us a little about it. Because actually, that's a question we actually get quite a bit. Is have you ever done a solo trip? And is it one of those things that you recommend doing? And it's kind of interesting because there's actually something coming up towards the end of the year that Danny and I are really super going to try to get to do, kind of as solo, kind of separately, but it's going to be one of those things where, like, I'll be taking a trip probably without my family, and that's going to feel really awkward. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be really awkward because I've never gone to Disney by myself. Now, granted, I'll be meeting Danny and a few others later, but I've never gone by myself. Stan says, that he totally recommends going solo. And I think, that would be something I would love to do. I know I've had other friends go solo, and they said that it's been absolutely fantastic, and they enjoy it. One thing, pardon for that pause. One thing that I always don't like to do, I don't like to eat by myself. And I don't know if people can hear me now, but I don't like to eat by myself. And that's okay. And so we'll go ahead.
Oh, hi.
Hold on, I'm not done with my story yet.
Looks
So
like we had some technical difficulties.
I know, but I was just talking a
But
little.
I'm back.
I know. Well,
Oh, man.
let me finish.
Sorry about that.
Let me finish my
Oh,
story. Can
gosh.
you hear me?
Can you guys hear me? Everybody's good?
Can you hear
Let me
me?
know if you can hear what's going on.
Can you hear me? No, you can't hear me?
Okay, so I'm assuming you can hear me.
I can
Yeah.
hear you.
So,
but you can't
me
hear
and Chris were talking about NASA before we got cut off and all the other options you have to do. Listen, there's some really cool things you could do outside of Disney. But experience new things inside Disney is always interesting. You always want to do you want to try different things because you don't want to keep doing the same old thing all the time because then it gets repetitive. Because what is for you big time Disney goers, what's the biggest thing? It's, oh, you're going to Disney again. When people who aren't Disney fans always look at you and they say the same thing. Oh, you're going to Disney again. And yeah, you are going to Disney again, but you don't want to do the same things over and over again. You want to stay fresh and up to date, and there's just so much to do. And I'm starting to really get into the habit of staying in Florida for a couple days extra and doing things outside. There's Gatorland, there's all this crazy stuff. There's so much to do, but let's bring Chris back on here. Oh, see, now I have the echo.
I don't hear an echo, so you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, it must be nice.
Oh, we gotta love this unscripted
Lovely software.
Unscripted, yeah.
No, I know we're back live again. Okay, so I know we were talking about NASA, and I was just saying to them, there's so much to do in Florida that I've actually started to plan an extra couple days inside Florida to experience different things. I said, there's Gatorland, there's NASA. I had posted something that's just about maybe an hour and a half south of Disney, where it's basically a giant obstacle course through like the Everglades, which has zip lining and rock climbing, all that stuff.
I thought the Everglades was kind of a place that would kind of scare me, though.
The Everglades? Oh, have you been to the Everglades?
No, but it's like I just think every time I think of Everglades, I think of like swamp and alligators and stuff that can eat you.
But even if you wanted to say, you said, okay, listen, Danny, I don't want to go that far off property. There's still, what? The downtown Disney Springs, whatever you want to call it, it's not your daddy's or your grandpa's downtown Disney like we all remember. It's not Pleasure Island. It's think about it. You can go out to eat, you can go do you could bowl, You can go dancing. You can go to speakeasy bars. You can go see multiple movies. You can eat while you're in the movies. You can walk around. You can go high end shopping. You can go Disney shopping. You could just walk the water and sit outside, have a few drinks. I mean, there is so much to do, inside of Disney and outside of Disney, where, trying new things is something that I think everybody, listen, my motto for 2018 was do better. Make 2018 your year. Do better. And doing better would be, expanding. Try things you wouldn't normally do. And even if it costs a little bit extra, no one said you got to break the bank for it. No one said you got to rent out the yacht for an hour and a half, but maybe go get a paddle boat, something you wouldn't normally do. Because it's certain things like that end up being, the memories that you wouldn't normally make. Last little tidbit of information was the new ride taking over. I'm not even gonna mention its name. So much I dislike it. The ride that is formerly known as the Great Movie Ride that is getting a new ride. It will be open in 2019. That is the only information we're getting. Expect latter part of 2019.
I'm glad they're
expect early.
I'm glad that they're finally, stating something that when they're going to have that open. And 2019 sounds like it's going to be a long time, but we're talking about no more than a year and a half, and that's into 2019.
I would say they're probably going to try and, you know what? I rephrase that. No, I'm going to say it's going to be the beginning of 2019 because they don't want it anywhere near Star Wars.
Oh my gosh, you have got such a good point there. I mean, because that Star Wars is not supposed to be until summer of 2019, and that when that happens, but think about it, they've got to have it running because by the time Star Wars happens, Hollywood Studios has got to be running at full abilities, full capacity capabilities. Because that park is going to explode.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I mean, we always joked around how Hollywood Studios is a half-day park. And we always joked around how Animal Kingdom was always a half-day park. Think about it. Animal Kingdom is no longer a half-day park. It's in my opinion, it's a multi-day park. You don't think so?
I mean, I'm starting to like Animal Kingdom. It's starting to grow on me. I could do Animal Kingdom in 3 hours. Now, excluding Flight of Passage, people. Excluding Flight of Passage, because Flight of Passage, I mean, they're running it. What the funny thing is? I was finding Flight of Passage fast passes all the time. I went to go book someone's trip, and I was looking in April. April fast passes. Yes, that's right. That's right. 180 days. Yeah, that would have been right. No fast passes for him.
Well,
so, but no, listen.
But it's easier.
Personal opinion.
It is easier for you as going solo or with one other person to do Animal Kingdom faster than, say, a family of 4 or 5.
Yeah, and what I can accomplish not only by myself, but what I personally want to accomplish as a solo traveler is much different than a family of 4 pulling it their own every way.
Because my wife and I were able to do what we wanted to do at Hollywood Studios last July in 6 hours. With the exclusion of, Phantasmic, and we didn't do, what's it called? We didn't do Indiana Jones, but we did everything else. About 6 hours, 7 hours. But we were by ourselves. If we had our kids, it would take longer. Not because they're dragging us down. It's just, it'd take longer.
All right. Any parting words for our lovely listeners?
Well, all I know is that our next show will be filled with a lot of other cool, nifty stuff. And we're glad that everybody has come out tonight and joined us and tolerated, some of the glitches, me coughing. Danny's no beard face, which it really does look weird, dude. Just to stare at you.
I
This
just
is
look at big. I hate my big cheeks.
you got big chipmunk cheeks. So this is
I
basically
do.
that's
You, have
just
to ever, you start to see all the lines and everything because I just it all gets hidden by my beautiful hairs.
Oy, oy.
All right. With that being
And
said,
this.
don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook Behind the Ears Podcast, Instagram Behind the Ears Podcast, that pesky Twitter Behind the Ears PC. Any listener questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. Head on over to YouTube and subscribe to the Behind the Ears Podcast channel. I promise you, Uncle Danny promise in the next few months, we'll go months because let's be honest here, I'm lazy at times. There's gonna be some good content out there, some really cool content out there. Don't forget to join us at the WDW community Facebook page. I would be threatened with a stick if Trisha knew I didn't offer that off to everybody. And lastly, don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes. With that being said, everybody, say a little prayer for all the lost hairs. I should be a poet. Everybody tuck your kids in at night. Drink that cranberry juice. I am Uncle Danny. We are T-minus 1 week away from Disney. Let's get it rocking and rolling. Have a good evening, guys.
And I'm Mr. Chris. I'm actually going to try to drink some cranberry juice later. But I'll tell you what, go ahead and subscribe to our show over at Apple Podcast and TuneIn Radio and iHeartRadio and Stitcher Radio. Ask that Pexy Alexa to play the Behind the Ears podcast, and then have Google Home play it, whatever. Just have them play it for you. It's gonna be awesome. And when you subscribe to the show, you get the show right when it comes out, and you don't have to worry about it. And I think that's just one of the best things that you can do. But I'll tell you what, really enjoyed tonight's show, and even though I don't feel well, I'm glad that you guys just made my evening a little bit better. But until we meet again, y'all have just an absolutely fabulous day, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.